I hate him just like everybody else. But this move right here could be the reason that they win the division, make the playoffs. Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Durag D, and I'm back with another video for y'all, man. I'm your host, Durag D, and this is Dudes in Love with Football, the DILF podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for coming back. And the Pope cannot be an organ donor. Today, for you, man, we got a great one. We got our top 8 off-season additions in the NFL this year. Every year, man, we see moving parts, whether it be coaches, players, rookies, whatever the case may be. We always see people move around, but these are the top 8 that made the biggest impact in the NFL for this season. Starting off, this is honestly in no particular order. I got my boy George Pickens. I'm going to be up front, man. I used to be the biggest Pickens hater on the platform. I used to say he's overrated. He's not top 15. Yada, yada, yada. He doesn't run a full route tree. All he does is run go balls. He's a contested catch guy. He can't get separation. And all of that stuff I still feel like is true. I'm going to be honest with you. But as a wide receiver 1, it's different. He's a wide receiver 2 now, and I think he might be just what the doctor ordered for them stinking Dallas Cowboys. I hate him just like everybody else. But this move right here could be the reason that they win the division, make the playoffs, Dak win MVP. And I'm being dead serious because we've seen Dak finish top 2 in MVP, but we've seen Dak lead the league, be top 2 in passing touchdowns. So you get him another weapon, you make this offense even more dynamic. And this is exactly what they need because who do they have that run the ball? Nobody. It's Javonte Williams, it's Miles Sanders, it's the scraps of the dead from the Panthers and the Broncos. And then they got their, 6th, 7th round rookie, Jadon Blue out of Texas. So they ain't going to be able to run the ball, I'll tell you that right now. It's going to be on the $60 million man, Dak Prescott, and the $34 million wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, and the newly paid tight end, Jake Ferguson, and the newly acquired George Pickens. This offense is going to run through its pass attack. Who knows how good the defense is going to be, but I'm expecting big things. They have been missing a deep threat for a while now. They tried, ever since they had Michael Gallup, they haven't really had one. They tried Brandon Cooks. They've tried Jalen Tolbert. They brought in T.Y. Hilton when he was 50 years old. I mean, Pickens is better than those guys, no doubt about it. I still don't believe he's a top 15 receiver in the league, but for this team, he might be excellent. I'm not going to lie. And he's a guy that he could beat your cornerback 1, but now that he's going against corner 2s, it might get spooky, bro. And things that they can now do with CeeDee Lamb, they can put him more in the slot because obviously Pickens is a great outside receiver. I wonder if they'll ever put Pickens in the slot. Jalen Tolbert now moves to that wide receiver 3 spot. He's a much better 3 than he is a 2. Everyone moves down the pecking order, and it just looks so much better when you got CeeDee Lamb, then Pickens, Tolbert, Cooks, or whoever the case may be, instead of CD, Tolbert. You know what I mean? When that pecking order goes down one, man, I think George Pickens is an absolutely unreal pickup for them. And we all knew that Pickens was on the block once they traded for DK Metcalf. They weren't going to pay both of those guys. So I was really shocked when it was Dallas. I was shocked at the price that they got him for. But, this could end bad. Obviously he's been a hothead before in his career. He's NFL young boy, whatever you want to call him, shiesty, whoop-de-woo, whatever. He's a talent. He's a talented receiver, and he's a guy that the Cowboys absolutely needed, no question about it. Now, I'm interested to see if he does well, do they bring him back? And if they do, at what price? Because obviously they still got to pay Micah. They still, have to take care of that. Ron Bland's coming up soon. We'll see how much he gets. So they don't really have money to go around. So if Pickens has a great year, I wonder if he stays or if he goes or if he, plays his way out of their budget, to be quite honest with you. Now, next up, I got a team that picked top 4 in the draft that I think is making the playoffs this year, and that's the New England Patriots. They had a overhaul this year. Obviously, they brought in Mike Vrabel. That's their key addition. And don't sleep on Robert Spillane either. Robert Spillane's been one of the best linebackers in the league for the last 2 years with the Las Vegas Raiders. He's been top 10 in tackles the last 2 years. This past year, I think he was actually 3rd. And he's been a guy that he's super versatile. He's gotten you up to 3.5, 4 sacks a season. He'll get you an interception or 2. This past year, he had 7 pass breakups. So he's good in coverage, tackling machine. He can blitz, get to the quarterback. And he's a linebacker that I never, ever hear about. And that's fine. Like, you talk about the best linebackers in the league, and everyone brings up, Fred Warner and Bobby Wagner. And rightfully so, these guys are great. But Robert Spillane is a guy who has been repeatedly underrated. And I think in this Mike Vrabel system, I think he might show up and show out. I think he might put himself in that Zach Bond type conversation where he comes out of absolutely nowhere. Now, it wouldn't be nowhere to me because I already know about Robert Spillane. I think he's underrated, but he could be a Zach Bond type who gets signed to an elite defense, and they play a bunch of primetime games and they play on national TV all the time. So people see, and then, bro, who's that Spillane guy? Bro, that Spillane guy is showing out, bro. He's all over the place. He got a sack. He forced a fumble. He had an interception. Like, this guy's going to be all over the place for this Mike Vrabel defense. I'm not going to lie to you. And Mike Vrabel himself is going to be so much better than Gerard Mayo. They basically promised Gerard Mayo the job. And, so when Mike Vrabel got fired, it was, well, we already promised Gerard Mayo the job, so it's not much we can do. So that's why I believe Mike Vrabel wasn't the coach last year, because they had a handshake deal with Gerard Mayo. But they got the right guy in charge now. Now, I don't love Josh McDaniels, but I don't know who their offensive coordinator last year was, but he'll be better than that guy for sure. He has a track record of being successful with talented quarterbacks. Now, those talented quarterbacks are Tom Brady and Tom Brady exclusively, and I'm sure Drake May's no Tom Brady, but, he doesn't have a ton to work with offensively. It's Diggs, it's Kyle Williams, it's two guys that look like a bust last year, Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. It's Demario Douglas, Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, Travion Henderson. I do have this as a playoff team looking at their schedule. It is insane. Not insanely easy. This is the NFL, and they were one of the worst teams. But they should win 8 games. They should be in a lot of games. They shouldn't be getting blown out as much. And Mike Vrabel, we've seen what he's been able to do with under-talented teams. He had, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a point where the Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it did happen. There was a season where Ryan Tannehill was absolutely like that. And I think he threw like 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And he gets the best out of what he's got, And I think he's a chip right off the Belichick block. Do your job. I don't need you to be a superstar. Just be in the right gap, alignment, assignment, be where you need to be, when you need to be there, and do your job. I really think Mike Vrabel is going to be an excellent coach for these guys. We've seen what he did in Tennessee, obviously. I don't even know why Tennessee let him go, to be quite honest with you. We've seen that so far they've had 0 success without him. So the Patriots, I think, will be a playoff team. I think Mike Vrabel is going to bring discipline. They, like last year, I don't know if anyone realized this, but they were heavily penalized. They were a team that, didn't look as disciplined as a Belichick-led team, obviously. So Mike Vrabel's going to come in there and get that discipline, get those young guys straightened out. Ain't going to be no more flags and all that goofy stuff no more going on in New England. And with Robert Spillane manning that defense, it's probably going to be top 10 again. And like I said, I got to see him make the playoffs. Now, the next 2 clowns I got on the list, the first one is an absolute clown. He ruined the wide receiver market, and that's DK Metcalf. Now, it's one of the most impactful, but one of the worst offseason moves this year. Trading a second-round pick for DK Metcalf is already, iffy at best. And then you give the man 33 years. At the time, he was the 3rd highest wide receiver in terms of average annual salary at $33 million. 3rd. And then Jamar Chase got paid, and now he's 4th. But that's absolutely insane. I don't think anyone in their right mind would accuse DK Metcalf of being a top 5 receiver, of being a top 10 receiver, of being a top 15 receiver. He's lucky to be top 20. Like, I'm so serious, bro. He's been overrated for the last 2-3 years now. I understand he's built like a Greek god. He's chiseled. All that good stuff. I understand all that. He runs fast. He jumps high. But top 3 money is beyond ridiculous. And I think the reason I hate it the most is because my team is now directly affected. Because it's now reported that Terry McLaurin wants significantly more than $33 million a year. And guess who makes $34 million a year? That's CeeDee Lamb. And guess who makes $35 million a year? That would be Justin Jefferson. So now you're telling me that Terry McLaurin is asking for top 2 money, more than CeeDee Lamb, more than Justin Jefferson, when he's barely a top 15 receiver himself, when he's not even top 10. Terry's getting overrated. DK Metcalf ruined the wide receiver market. Now all these guys, like T. Higgins. T. Higgins got 28.75. Would have been perfect. And I understand, you got to keep the ball rolling, and we can't stunt the market. We got to keep the market going so that the next guy keep it going. But Terry ain't better than Garrett Wilson. He's not. He's just not. Me personally, it's tough, man. I love Terry. I love everything he's been through for us. He's never complained, never requested a trade, stayed loyal, all that good stuff through the 15,000 different quarterbacks that we had. We had Ron Rivera. We had freaking Jay Gruden. We had freaking Dan Snyder. Like, it was bad. He was here through some of the worst years of the Redskins football team commander. And he was underrated for years. And now he's gotten to the point he's overrated. He had a great year. He's never had 1,200 yards. He didn't even have 1,100 this year in 17 games. He scored a lot of touchdowns, yeah, sure, but that's what happens when you have a top 5 quarterback. It is what it is. But I don't think that means you deserve top 2 money. I really, truly don't. I think if it were me, I can't pay you more than DK Metcalf. I'm sorry. I think you're better than DK Metcalf, but I cannot get close to JJ, to CeeDee Lamb type money. I'm sorry. I just can't. I would love to pay Terry $30 million a year. I know for a fact there's zero chance that he takes anything less than 30. Because if I were him, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't take anything less than 30. If it were me, I'm paying him anywhere between 30 and 33. And if that's not enough, then you're going to have to play out your contract and we'll franchise tag you. And we'll see how many teams want a 32-year-old wide receiver when the time comes. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. And guess who we have to blame? DK Metcalf. Because actually the Steelers. I don't blame DK Metcalf. They gave him the money. I blame the Steelers for forking over that kind of cash for a super mid wide receiver. This is why they will perennially be mid. This is why they will never be good. They overpay for mid, and then TJ Watt had to scratch him off for his $40 million. But you bring a guy from the outside in and you pay him a boatload of money. Crazy work. Now the guy that goes with that is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, his impact this year is gonna show why guys should just be done. Why guys like Matt Stafford might need to retire. Why guys like Russell Wilson need to retire. Not everybody can be Brady, bro. Not everybody can play till they're 45. Not everybody should play in their 40s. We saw Rodgers regress last year. Now we're going to see it again. I think Rodgers is not taking his team where they want to go. He's not winning them a playoff game. He may not even make the playoffs with this roster because it's nowhere near what those Packers rosters were. He had a very good defense at times when he was winning. When he won his Super Bowl, for sure, he had a really good defense. And then he always had weapons, whether it was, Jordy Nelson, whether it was Greg Jennings, whether it was Devontae Adams, obviously. Now, you got Christian Watson as rookie, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams. Like, bro, y'all, you've had talent, no question about it. But this Steelers team isn't Green Bay. I don't even know if it's New York, to be quite honest with you. There's no Garrett Wilson on this roster. There's no Devontae Adams. There's no Breece Hall on this roster. So Aaron Rodgers is going to be a guy. Obviously, this is going to be his last year, but his impact this year is going to be he might get Mike Tomlin fired. Or this might be Mike Tomlin's last year because the Steelers don't fire coaches. But it might be his first losing season, man. It really, really might be because Aaron Rodgers' impact on winning just not the same anymore, man. It really, really is not. Now, moving on into our next biggest impact addition this offseason, I got Laramie Tunsil, man. I always got to sneak in a way to talk about my commies, man. And Laramie Tunsil is a top 3, top 5 tackle in this league. I love the fact that the Commanders, don't let out a lot of leaks, right? We had no idea. Well, I wouldn't say we had no idea, but we didn't know when the Deebo Samuel trade was coming. We had no clue about the Laramie Tunsil trade. That just dropped out of absolutely nowhere. Gave up like a second, a third, and a fifth, something like that for an elite tackle, taking them all day. And this is why it's hard for me to believe that I see any type of sophomore slump for Jay Daniels because we've refortified the offensive line, got 2 new bookend tackles. We got Laramie Tunsil, and then we drafted Josh Connolly in the first round, which means our old left tackle, who was Brandon Coleman, 3rd-round pick out of TCU, now gets to move to left guard where he was projected to play. A lot of people projected him to be a much better guard than a tackle. He gets bumped inside. That line is looking scary. You go from left to right. You go Laramie Tunsil, all-pro, Pro Bowler. You go Brandon Coleman, Pro Bowl potential, especially at guard. And then you go center Tyler Biadasz, who's been a Pro Bowler before. You go Sam Cosmi, who's one of the best right guards in the game, Pro Bowl talent. And then you go Josh Connolly, 1st-round rookie. Bro, this might be a top 5 offensive line low key. It really might. It's going to help out the run game, obviously protect Jaden. help him out in the run game as well. Man, I can't be more excited when a team builds correctly around their young quarterback. Like, they are doing the exact opposite of what the Texans are doing. The Texans are saying, we'll get you all these shiny new toys. I mean, they've got them 4 new receivers in 2 seasons. They got Stephon Diggs. They went out and got Christian Kirk now, and they just drafted 2. They drafted the 2 out of Iowa State. It's ironic because it's the same division. It almost feels like they're Andrew Lucking him. Like, here's Andre Johnson, and here's Frank Gore, and Philip Dorsett, all these shiny toys, but they got nobody up front. They lost Laramie Tunsil. They lost Kenyon Green. They drafted some offensive linemen, I think, in the 2nd round. But C.J. Stroud was already running for his life last year, especially because of that interior of the offensive line, guard to guard. And then you get rid of one of the best tackles in the league and Kenyon Green. It's going to be spooky, man. It's going to be real spooky out there in Houston. That's why I'm lower on the Texans this year than a lot of people are. I don't think they win the division because I truly believe Laramie Tunsil is that good. I truly do believe that. I wouldn't be surprised to see C.J. Stroud struggle once again because he's running for his life, while Jaden is just back there combing his hair, patting the ball, looking at Terry, looking at Debo. That's how you build around a young quarterback. You fortify the offensive line, then you get them weapons, not the other way around. You can't hit weapons when you're on your back. You can't throw the ball to elite receivers when you're getting sacked and running for your life. So Laramie Tunsil, man, he's a locker room presence. He's a captain. He'll be able to kick Brandon Coleman inside the guard where he should be better. This offensive line is really starting to take shape. Just hoping that they all stay healthy and they can get chemistry, because that's most important for offensive linemen. It's chemistry, reps together, communication. I would take 5 solid offensive linemen that have been playing together forever over a cast of all pros that have never played together, because the communication and the chemistry is going to be off. Going to be missing assignments, missing blocks, but they'll have all the talent. So I need this offensive line to get chemistry, continuity, get that communication down. So that comes season time, no sacks. The running game is elite. Man, Laramie Tunsil, that was a blessing. That was a treat when I saw my phone and I saw Laramie Tunsil. It was crazy. Moving on next, man, we got one of my favorite players in the league. We got your boy Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter, even if he's absolute garbage, he will have eyeballs on the TV. People going to be buying merch. People going to be going to games. People going to be talking about him. And that's all good for the Jaguars. That's all good for the NFL. He's a special talent, man. He really is. And just the discourse that we have about him over and over and over. How much is he going to play on offense? How much is he going to play on defense? Is it possible that he plays both ways in every game? Is it possible that he wins offensive and defensive rookie of the year? Is it we have all these thoughts and possibilities in our head about this man, and it just brings eyeballs to the sports. It brings hype to the sport. And if I was a Jags fan, man, I would be doing absolute cartwheels right now, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I mean, last year you get blessed, you get Brian Thomas, and then the very next year you get Travis Hunter. Like, woo, man, Jags fans got to be on cloud 9. No more excuses for Trevor Lawrence. I got you guys winning the division this year. And another guy that's a key offseason addition that goes hand in hand with Travis Hunter is Liam Cohen. We saw what he did last year in Tampa. That offense was one of the best in the league. Baker Mayfield was top 5 in passing touchdowns. He also did, turn the ball over a decent amount. One of the best passing offenses, one of the most improved rushing offenses. He went from 1,300 yards rushing to 2,600 yards rushing. I mean, it's hard to say that Liam Cohen wasn't one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. And you're getting that as your head coach now. He may not be Ben Johnson, but he's not far off. You know what I mean? He's an offensive guru. We've seen the things he's been able to do with less talent, because that Buccaneers roster was not as stacked as the Lions roster, right? There's no Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what I mean? There's no Jahmyr Gibbs and Monty, right? So, I mean, the Jags, man, your fans have got to be elated. You guys got arguably the most recognizable, the best player in this draft, the biggest difference maker, the highest ceiling. I mean, the fact that this man, Travis Hunter, could fail at one position and still be a Hall of Famer is absolutely bonkers to me. It's crazy. It's nuts. So just saying that out loud is crazy. You know, he could fail at one position and still be a Hall of Famer. That's absolutely nuts to me. I think if he played full-time wide receiver, he'd be one of the best in the league, no question about it. So he's just an exciting talent, man. He really is. I think he's going to change. He's going to bring a lot of their fan base back, because over the past couple years, they peaked when Trevor Lawrence won a playoff game, and then they've kind of sullied these last couple years or so. He'll put butts in the seats, no doubt about it. He'll sell merch. He'll make the games exciting. He'll be a guy. He'll be box office. people want to watch. He'll make non-Jaguars fans tune into Jaguars games, no question about it. And I think he can be a difference maker on the field as well. I think he can be, like I said, better than Brian Thomas. I think he can be their best corner because they don't have a lot to speak up at the cornerback position right now. So Travis Hunter and Liam Cohen could absolutely shake things up in the AFC South. Now, moving on, I got to have Ben Johnson on here. Now, even though we have no idea if he's a good head coach or not, there's absolutely no question that this man knows offense. He knows how to run plays. He knows how to call them up. He knows how to scheme them. He knows how to put his players in the best position possible with their talent and what they can do. Now, does he have the talent in Chicago that he had in Chicago? I don't know. I got him Amon-Ra St. Brown. I got him better than DJ Moore. I got Sam Laporta better than Cole Kmet, maybe Colson Loveland too, we'll see. I got Jahmyr Gibbs, probably, and David Montgomery better than DeAndre Swift. So maybe the talent isn't one for one the same, but it's talent nonetheless. It's elite young talent with a lot of potential. So Caleb Williams got the best quarterback whisperer, quarterback guru on the market. There's no more excuses. There's no more excuses for Caleb Williams. I don't want to hear about the offensive line. They fortified that. They brought 3 new starters. They brought in an offensive-minded head coach, and they brought in a new receiver and a new tight end, drafted a running back in the 7th round. They're almost building a Madden team is what it feels like. It feels like they're in franchise mode on Madden, building a team. And if Caleb is half of what he was propped up to be coming into the season, then this team should make the playoffs. He should throw 30 touchdowns and 4,000 yards, no question about it. And they should be one of the top 10 or 8 offenses in the league because we've seen Ben Johnson get the most out of Jared Goff. And I don't think anyone would say Caleb should be worse than Jared Goff. You know what I mean? He should be better than Jared Goff. And I think Ben Johnson will get a lot of that hero ball out of Caleb. Caleb was playing too much hero ball, running around for his life, horrible offensive line, thinking he could juke 10 guys, break tackles, and then throw some 60-yard touchdown. Nah, man, this is the NFL. It's not going to happen. So hopefully he learned his lesson. Hopefully with this new offensive line, he feels more comfortable back there. He doesn't feel like he has to bolt, has to run. Because there were times the pocket was perfectly fine and he just bolted because he got happy feet. He was seeing ghosts, whatever the case may be. But hopefully Ben Johnson gets it more comfortable in the pocket, kind of dummies down the offense, but at the same time, keeps it simple for him. Don't make him do too much. Do your defense some favors. Don't turn the ball over. Don't give the opposing team great field position, short fields where the defense has no hope. Give Chicago some hope, man. I feel like that's all they're really asking for at this point. They're not asking for Super Bowl or anything like that. Just give them some hope. And I don't think that's very hard to do when you've got this collection of talent, this head coach, these type of offensive minds around, right? So Ben Johnson, it would be interesting to see had he gone anywhere else because I know we interviewed Ben Johnson, the Commanders did before we hired Dan Quinn last year. It would have been interesting to see him go to, like the Raiders or the Jets. Well, he wasn't going to the Jets or the Saints for sure. But I mean, if he would have went anywhere else, like I just feel like this was the perfect marriage offensively for Ben Johnson. There's really just no excuses for Caleb. Caleb, this is your year. If you don't get it done, I promise you bus talks in Chicago are going to start talking because there were 5 quarterbacks that went after you that could easily end up better than you. Jaden Daniels already looks better than you. Drake May has shown crazy promise in the limited snaps that he's gotten because he did more with less than you did. Michael Penix in those 3 games, he looked like a superstar at times. Then you got Bo Nix, second all-time in passing touchdowns for rookies. And let's not forget J.J. McCarthy, who was injured and has a huge advantage when it comes to the situation because he's got arguably the best offensive mind. He's got arguably the best receiver in the league. So Caleb, bro, if it ain't this year, it's never. It really is. And I hate that he has that much pressure as a second-year player, but it's put up or shut up, bro. We need results. And Ben Johnson's the guy for the job. Now, I do think that there's a scenario where Ben Johnson fails as a head coach, but the offense is still really good. But at the bare minimum, he has to get Caleb looking like a franchise quarterback, no doubt about it. Now, moving on, got Ashton Jeanty and Geno Smith. I think this Raiders offense is going to go from complete, say it with me now, cockapoo to honestly top half of the league. Do you think they could be a top 16 offense in the league? I do. With Ashton Jeanty, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, Jack Bash. I think they could do it. I really do. Geno Smith, I think he's slightly overrated. People were going kind of goo-goo gaga whenever they traded for him. I was like, ho-hum, right? But he's better than what they had last year. He's better than Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, that's for sure. Ashton Jeanty is miles better than Sincere McCormick, Zamir White, and whoever the heck else they had running the football last year. they can't hold his jock. They can't tie his shoe. They drafted him 6th overall for a reason. I think he's going to touch the ball 300 times, probably be offensive rookie of the year, over 1,250 total yards, maybe even close to 1,500, over 10 touchdowns. Like, I could see Genty being an absolute workhorse monster child. Geno Smith is just going to bring consistency. He's a leader in the locker room. He's a grown-up. And he's not going to make the boneheaded decisions, getting stupid flags to lose games to the Chiefs, fumbling the snap. He's not going to throw in the double, triple coverage and all types of bull jive. He's a professional. He doesn't make the mistakes that the Raiders quarterbacks were making last year. And he's a guy that he might mess around and get this team to the playoffs. I saw a quote, the other day from Geno talking about how people don't believe in the Raiders. And he's saying, we'll be the team in the shadows. We don't want people to believe in us. We want to sneak up on people and show them how good we are. We don't have anything to say. So I love the attitude that they're bringing this year. Genty and Geno are going to transform this offense because they are light years better than the combination of Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and Zamir White, Sincere McCormick, and whoever else was running the ball for them last year. So don't be surprised if next year the Raiders are a half-decent offense. They're in the playoff hunt at times. I'm not predicting that they make the playoffs, but if week 10, week 12, you see that in the hunt picture and they're there, don't be surprised, man. Don't be surprised. Because I think they lost Robert Spillane. Obviously, he went to the Patriots. I don't think defense will be their calling card. They just had to cut Christian Wilkins. Max Crosby's obviously a dog, but not much really to speak of on that defensive side of the ball. I mean, they brought in Jeremy Chin from Washington, who I thought was solid last year, but nothing crazy special or anything like that. He had over 100 tackles for us. He was a good player, but on a one-year deal. I don't know how much they believe in him. Like I said, they had to cut Christian Wilkins, one of the better D tackles. They were paying him a ton of money. I mean, it's just tough, man. It's just tough. And they're in a tough division, but I could see them winning 8-9 games. I really could. I truly believe that. I mean, Geno had the Seahawks making the playoffs. He had the Seahawks competitive. I don't think that roster is much better than what this Raiders roster is right now, especially offensively. DK Metcalf's crazy overrated. I mean, he had rookie JSN and second-year JSN, a super old Tyler Lockett, a banged-up Ken Walker. I mean, no tight end to speak of whatsoever. So I could make the argument that this Raiders offense is right there with that Seattle offense after getting Geno. So like I said, don't be surprised if these guys are in the hunt. They're top half offense in the league. Now, moving on to my last key addition this year, man. It's an absolute shame what happened to this guy. Watching what happened to him in the NFL draft was an absolute travesty. I wasn't high on him, but I wasn't this low on him, and that's Shedeur Sanders. And you might hear his name, you're like, impactful addition. How? Same thing with Travis Hunter, bro. Butts in the seat, merchandise sold, people watching on TV, people talking about you, publicity. That's what he brings. I don't know how good Shedeur Sanders is. I think he should be the starter, if not Joe Flacco. Like right after Joe Flacco, it should be Shedeur Sanders. It shouldn't be Kenny Pickett, and they just brought in Tyler Huntley and Dylan Gabriel, and they still got Deshaun on Watson, God forbid. Like I said, it's something we have to talk about all the time. Like we've heard the owner come out and say, oh, well, I would have told you not to take Shedeur. That was the Andrew Berry pick. Like, it seems like every week it's a new Shedeur Sanders story. He's fourth string on the depth chart, bringing another quarterback. He's getting no reps with the ones and twos. He's getting 2 reps a week. His dad wanted to come see him. He said, no, because I'm not getting reps. Like, every week it is something with Shedeur. And I honestly feel bad for the kid, man, because I think he's more talented. He deserves better. He's more talented than a 5th-round pick. He's more talented than Kenny Pickett. He's better than Dylan Gabriel. I don't know what's going on with this story. I don't know if the NFL just hates Deion, so they're taking it out on his son. I really don't know, but it doesn't make a lot of logical sense to me. It truly doesn't. And we know that the teams in Ohio are poorly ran. I don't know what's going on in Ohio with the water, but the Bengals and the Browns just don't know how to manage teams. They don't know how to manage players, treat their players. Because on the one end with the Bengals, they're really good about getting good players. They go out and get Burrow. They draft Chase. They get Hendrickson, T. Higgins, all these guys, Shamar Stewart in the first round. But the problem is, they're like, oh, we don't know if we want to pay T. Higgins. We're going to franchise tag him. Oh, Jamar Chase, we're not going to pay you. Oh, Shamar Stewart, we're going to put some crazy language in your contract to where, if you get in trouble as a rookie, we can take your guaranteed money in year 2 and year 3. Absolutely not, said Shamar Stewart. Trey Hendrickson, we know you averaged 17.5 sacks over the last 2 seasons, which leads the NFL, but we don't want to pay you. We'll just rather get the offense looking right, and we'll just win games 40-41, or we'll try to at least, because we've missed the playoffs with you getting 17.5 sacks. So, and then you got the Browns, who they can't pick anyone right. They're like, hey, we've had 50,000 quarterbacks since 2000. None of them have panned out, but we'll draft Baker Mayfield and then treat him like absolute garbage. Bring in a guy with 24 civil sexual cases on his head that haven't been resolved. And not only that, we'll give him $240 million fully guaranteed. And we're going to trade 2 first-round picks and this, that one, and this one just to get him on the roster. Do you know how that sounds? Bro, it's crazy. It is absolutely insane what's going on in Ohio. I don't think either of these teams make the playoffs. Obviously, the Browns are absolute dog water right now. And then Quinton Judkins. Like, they just have a knack right now for getting criminals on their team. Criminals or people that they, I don't know, or players that aren't good. They're either criminals or they aren't good. That's all the Browns have, except for on defense. They got some good players on defense. But offensively, I don't even know if Shedeur should want to start. They don't have anything. It's Jerry Jeudy, who's not a true wide receiver one. I like Cedric Tillman, David Njoku, no running game to speak of because Nick Chubb obviously gone. He was a shell of himself. Judkins, who knows if he's even going to play in the league this year. Then you got rookie Dylan Sampson and just a guy, Jerome Ford. So, Shedeur, don't take it too harsh, man, but you'll be all right, man. I still don't understand why he went in the 5th round. I don't know why he fell like a rock in the draft, but he's a key addition, man, because like I said, no one was going to watch the Browns this year. The only reason people care about the Browns now is because of Shedeur. He's the only thing worth talking about. It was Myles Garrett for a little bit with his contract situation, whatever the case may be, but that got resolved, and now, literally, I promise you, ever since the draft, no one would be talking about the Browns unless they got someone worth talking about. And I love Mason Graham, but he's not Shedeur from a publicity standpoint. He's not Travis Hunter at all from a publicity standpoint. So those were my top 8 offseason additions this year for different reasons. Some of these guys are actually going to be good. Some of these guys might not even start a game. Some of these guys ruined the wide receiver market for my team, and I'll never forgive them. But thanks for tuning in. I am Durag D, your host. This is Dudes in Love with Football. I'll catch you next time. Peace.